Hi, I'm Daniel Needs and welcome to Australia. I love living here. It's a fascinating country famous for its wildlife, its landscape and of course our warm sunny climate. Australia is in the southern hemisphere. The country's name was taken from the Latin term Terra Australis, which means southern land. It's the 6th largest country in the world, approximately 4,000 kilometres across, but less than 20 million people live here. The first people to live here were the Aborigines. They came here from Asia thousands of years ago. The sea levels were lower then, so people could easily cross the ocean. For thousands of years, they were the only people living here, but today they are only a small part of the country's population. The first Europeans arrived in the 17th century, when the Dutch explorer Abel Tasman sailed here. In the 18th century, the British explorer Captain James Cook made Australia a British colony. At first, Britain used the country as a huge prison and many prisoners were sent here. But then a lot of other people from Britain and Ireland came here too. They bought farms and built houses. Today, Australia has a population of around 20 million, but you can still see the influence of the early British settlers. We speak English, we drive on the left, and we love tea and cricket. It's our national sport. But people from lots of other countries have moved here too. And today, Australia is a very multicultural country. Most of Australians live near the east corner of the country, because around 90% of the land is very dry. I'm from Sydney, which is on the east coast. It's Australia's biggest city and is famous for its iconic Harbour Bridge and the Opera House. In 2000, the Olympics were held here, and now the old Olympic Park is very popular with residents and tourists. It's bigger than Melbourne, Australia's second city. Melbourne's got long, beautiful beaches, one of Australia's most famous cricket grounds, and the largest tram network in the world. But surprisingly, the capital of Australia isn't Melbourne or Sydney. In 1908, both cities wanted to be the capital, but nobody could decide between the two. So they found a small sheep station between the two. It was called Canberra, and it became the capital. It's a small city, but all of Australia's government is here. About 80% of Australians live in cities like this, but some people do live in Central Australia. Australians call this part of the country the Outback. It's very dry and most of the area is desert. Some people do live here, but it is difficult. The houses are very isolated, so they need a flying doctor who visits by plane. A lot of people and children have to participate in virtual classrooms, where they communicate with their teacher and classmates over the internet. The Outback is also home to Uluru, one of the most famous symbols of Australia, and has got some of the most amazing wildlife in the world. Animals like the kangaroo, the koala, the platypus are all unique to Australia. This is because the continent of Australia was cut off from other continents when sea levels rose millions of years ago, so different kinds of animals evolved here. Australia has also got some of the most dangerous animals in the world, like saltwater crocodiles, giant lizards, tiger snakes, and in the ocean around Australia, great white sharks and box jellyfish. Australia is a fascinating country for many different reasons. Its friendly people, beautiful scenery and unusual wildlife make it a brilliant place to visit and a fantastic place to live. Right, well I'm off to the beach. I'll see you guys later.